like your typical field surgical hospital, almost like you would see on MASH, but more modern, more up to date.
It is a building block capability where medical can provide support to the combatant commanders at different levels depending upon that commander's need.
Wherever that combatant commander wants to put their troops, a medical asset will be with them at any time.
EMEDS can provide a pretty good scale of care, and it depends on how many beds are attached to that. And so with each iteration of EMEDS, more capabilities are added.
The foundational level is going to be that EMEDS health response team. It's going to be a 5-tent facility. It's going to be able to handle the traumas, the walking woundeds that come through. However, when we scale that up to an EMEDS plus 10, that 10 is going to signify a 10-bed ward.
The final stage is the EMEDS plus 25, very similar to an Air Force theater hospital, not quite that level, but it's very similar.
You have your emergency room, of course, you have your surgery room, your ICU, and then you start to add on your outpatient unit where you can treat your walking wounded or your green triage patients. You add in some public health bio-capabilities.
Radiology, all of our ancillary services such as lab,
Pharmacy, surgical techs,
medical technicians, nurses, doctors,
various types of providers, administrative technicians.
From your lowest, it's going to be approximately 39 people or so, to your largest, which is going to be your EMEDS plus 25, which is staffed with 97 people.
We are ready to go anywhere at a moment's notice, deliver that patient's care.
And moving them to the next echelon of care.
Without expeditionary care, you don't have a mission.
We train here at Camp Bullis to the EMEDS plus 25 capability. So our goal in this training is to stress that facility to get more than 25 patients in there at any one time so that the critical thinking skills can kick in, and the commander and their team has to decide how they're going to manage that many patients.
If a provider is working in like a solid brick and mortar type hospital, they can have anything they want. And so one of the focuses of the training here is to show them, hey, this is your limited set. It's good stuff what we give them, but it's limited and they don't have the variety that they may be used to working with.
They come understanding how to do their job. They know that. They don't know how to do it in the field. They don't know how to do it under duress.
Some folks thrive in it. Some folks get incredibly calm and focused, and other folks just lose themselves a little bit. And so by giving them the experience of stress before they go into a deployed environment, it helps them get to know themselves a little bit more.
The training that we're giving you is so you can see how it is out there in the field.
Maybe it was an IED, a Humvee rollover, or maybe it was a soldier that went down range and they got hit with the bullet or shrapnel. Or it could be a local national patient that came in that is having abdominal pain, headache pain that is turning into a meningitis, and they need to treat that.
Anytime you get an opportunity to train in the Air Force, you need to take full advantage of it.
If we have to go in somewhere that hasn't an already established medical footprint and they have to set it up, our EMEDS personnel have to know how to set those tents up.
And take them back down, put them back up until they get that muscle memory feature built in.
How to populate the tents, how to set up their equipment, where to set it up, which tent is used for which section, which capability. And they manage upwards of 75 patients in the course of 10 to 12 hours.
Which is pretty much putting them in a scenario for the day as if they were in a deployed location and having them play that out.
Relatively recently, we've incorporated the high-fidelity mannequins into our exercise scenarios, and these mannequins are awesome. They can bleed, they can yell.
The pupils will constrict and dilate. The sounds will represent things that we've heard of real patients.
Any type of interventions you would need to do on a human, you can do that on those high-fidelity mannequins.
Some of the mannequins have the cut suit, which can be operated on.
They get to put a blood pressure cuff on, they get to put a pulse oximeter on that finger, and they will be given those vital signs through a tablet or the monitor themselves.
You want to be able to trust that person who's handling you. That, you know, the injured people don't want that to be the first time that their medic has put hands on a patient or started a line or cranked down a tourniquet.
We have human actors, human volunteers come, and they are absolutely phenomenal. They range from anything from twisting their ankle to a gunshot wound to a pregnancy. We're not going to have a trauma every single day, but we may have a local national patient come in, or we may have a civilian patient come in and say, hey, I'm not feeling well, or hey, I hurt my knee, I hurt my back.
Humans are also wonderful as far as the human actors for those patient scenarios that are going to be returned to duty, so they can express joy. You fixed me up. They can actually say thank you in a way that a mannequin would not.
During the EMEDS week-long training, we utilize the wide area virtual environment.
In a situation that is dark, low visibility,
They go out, place tourniquets on those patients, bring them behind the barriers, and continue further care.
it's very claustrophobic. The sounds of shots are extremely loud.
You may walk outside of your facility and have 3, 4, or maybe even 10, 20 patients laying out who are hollering and screaming, and you need to know what it is that you need to do your next step.
It helps build confidence in a way that traditional didactic classroom training cannot do.
Patients are missing limbs, they're screaming at the top of their lungs, they're combative, and it's just you. And there's smoke, and there's low light, you can barely see anything, and you have a job to do.
When you get put in a situation where there's gunfire, there's multiple patients, there's mortars coming at you, and these patients are all dying. The muscle memory is what's going to help you.
Living in the moment. That's the main goal, is to get them to live in the moment and feel like they're part of the bigger team.
You want to make it as realistic as possible, because some of these students that we're getting are, no kidding, they're coming to EMEDS on Sunday, and then Thursday, Friday, they're going to Balad or Iraq somewhere.
The expeditionary care gives soldiers a faith and hope that they will be cared for, and care gives courage.
All of us are brothers and sisters in arms. We want to get you back home, or we want to get you back to the fight. I still want you by my side. So it's really important that you know why we're doing this and how important it is.
You can go from an airman that's never been deployed to a full-bird colonel that's never been deployed, and they need to have that same expectation at any rank that when they go over there, it's serious business.
An EMEDS 25 is 97 personnel, so where do I fit in that 97 number, or in that EMEDS plus 25, or in that EMEDS plus 10, or the HRT? How do I fit, and how does what I do make a difference?
Every career field has their role, and we all work together like puzzle pieces. They all come together.
When we've started, just in the last 2 iterations, bringing in some wounded warriors to talk about their experience of, no kidding, getting blown up, like blown to bits practically. You know, they're examples of resiliency and walking miracles, and they have described in very great detail the teamwork that they witnessed in bringing them back. From being blown up in a Humvee and across, fields and dirt, to tents, to the next level of care.
So I came back home with the training that I had and the experiences that I had from deployment to make sure that the training that we do here is the best that it could be.
At the end of the day, who can say they went over in another country and saved a life, or got a warfighter back into the fight? But as a medic, this is your role, and if you do it right, you can make an impact.
You're going to receive casualties, and those will be our guys or coalition forces that are going to try and die. And they understand that they are not to let that happen. They're to stand in the path of God for that, at least for that day.